In the bustling heart of ancient Athens, there stood a school of philosophy that would change the course of history. Founded by the philosopher Zeno around 300 BC, Stoicism emerged as a powerful way of understanding life's challenges and mastering one's emotions. Zeno's journey began under dramatic circumstances. He was a wealthy merchant whose ship was caught in a storm and sank, leaving him with nothing. Imagine, for a moment, the gravity of such a loss. How would you react if your entire life's wealth and work were lost in an instant? Would you be angry, frustrated, or even despondent? For most people, such a tragedy would be unbearable. But for Zeno, this moment became the beginning of a profound philosophical journey that would forever alter his view of life. Zeno's misfortune, however tragic, offered him an invaluable lesson. External circumstances are beyond our control, but our reactions to those circumstances are entirely within our power. With this mindset, Zeno went on to found the Stoic school of thought, a philosophy that not only survives today, but has inspired countless individuals to live with greater resilience, wisdom, and tranquility. Stoicism teaches us one fundamental truth. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that truly matters. The world around us is full of challenges. Some we can foresee, others we cannot. Stoicism doesn't promise an easy life. Rather, it offers a framework for living a life of strength, courage, and purpose, no matter the circumstances. Lesson 1. The dichotomy of control. The most essential lesson from Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, understanding what is in your control and what is not. As Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely said, there are things that are up to us and things that are not up to us. External events, whether it's a storm at sea, the rise and fall of markets, or even the actions of other people, are outside of our control. However, how we respond to these events is entirely within our control. This simple yet profound distinction forms the foundation of Stoic practice. By focusing only on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we liberate ourselves from the stress and frustration of trying to control the uncontrollable. This mindset doesn't make us passive. Rather, it empowers us to take deliberate action in areas where we can make a difference. Lesson 2. The power of perception. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is that perception shapes reality. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Our interpretations of events determine how we experience them. When facing adversity, we can choose to see the challenge as an opportunity for growth or as an unfair setback. The Stoic approach encourages us to reframe our experiences, turning obstacles into stepping stones. For example, consider how many people react when faced with criticism. A Stoic would ask, is the criticism valid? What can I learn from it? Instead of feeling attacked, the Stoic sees it as a chance to improve. This shift in perspective doesn't negate the difficulty of the situation, but allows us to face it with greater clarity and calmness. Lesson 3. Living according to nature. The Stoics believed that true happiness lies in living in harmony with nature, both the natural world and our own nature as rational beings. For the Stoic, this means accepting the world as it is and embracing the inevitable changes that life brings. Life is unpredictable, but by accepting it as part of the natural order, we learn to be at peace with uncertainty. The Stoic philosopher Zeno taught that we must cultivate an attitude of indifference to external events, focusing instead on how we align our actions with reason and virtue. This doesn't mean ignoring the suffering or challenges of the world, but rather recognizing that our peace of mind is not dependent on external circumstances. Lesson 3. Living according to nature. The Stoics believed that true happiness lies in living in harmony with nature, both the natural world and our own nature as rational beings. For the Stoic, this means accepting the world as it is and embracing the inevitable changes that life brings. Life is unpredictable, but by accepting it as part of the natural order, we learn to be at peace with uncertainty. The Stoic philosopher Zeno taught that we must cultivate an attitude of indifference to external events, focusing instead on how we align our actions with reason and virtue. This doesn't mean ignoring the suffering or challenges of the world, but rather recognizing that our peace of mind is not dependent on external circumstances. Lesson 4. Virtue is the only true good for the Stoic. Virtue, the cultivation of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, is the only true good. External things like wealth, health, or status are indifferent. They neither add to nor take away from our moral character. The Stoic asks, what can I do to be a better person today? What actions can I take that align with my highest values? Unlike modern society, which often ties happiness to material wealth or social approval, Stoicism teaches us that real fulfillment comes from living a life of integrity and adhering to virtue in all circumstances. The Stoic goal is not to avoid challenges, but to face them with the resolve to maintain virtuous behavior. Lesson 5. Embrace adversity as a teacher. One of the most transformative lessons of Stoicism is to view adversity as a teacher. Stoics don't fear difficulty, they embrace it, seeing it as an opportunity to develop resilience. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When faced with hardship, a Stoic reframes the challenge as a chance to practice courage, patience, and wisdom. Through this lens, difficulties are not punishments. They are opportunities to grow, instead of shrinking from life's difficulties. The Stoic actively seeks them out as a means of self-improvement. Lesson 6. Practice, gratitude, and contentment. In a world that constantly promotes more, Stoicism teaches the value of contentment and gratitude. One of the practices Stoics use to cultivate contentment is voluntary discomfort, intentionally placing themselves in uncomfortable situations to build mental toughness and develop a sense of appreciation for what they have. The Stoics understood that happiness doesn't come from acquiring more things, but from accepting what we have and being grateful for it. As Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. By reducing our attachment to material possessions and focusing on our internal state of mind, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of desire. Lesson 7. Live in the present moment. Living in the present moment is a cornerstone of Stoic practice. We often spend too much time worrying about the future or regretting the past. But Stoicism teaches that the only time we truly have is the present. As Epictetus advised, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. By focusing on the here and now, we can fully engage with the tasks at hand, deepen our relationships, and cultivate a sense of inner peace. The Stoic challenge is to resist the distractions of modern life and stay grounded in the present moment, where true power lies. Lesson 8. Master your emotions. Stoicism teaches us to master our emotions rather than be mastered by them. Emotions while natural, are not always rational. A Stoic doesn't suppress their feelings, but learns to understand and direct them. For example, instead of allowing anger to dictate behavior, a Stoic will reflect on why they feel angry and how they can respond in a more measured way. The goal is not to eliminate emotion, but to transform it into a tool for self-control and rational action. A Stoic works to be emotionally resilient, finding peace in the face of both joy and sorrow. Lesson 9. The importance of self-discipline. A key element of Stoic philosophy is the cultivation of self-discipline. The Stoics believed that self-mastery was necessary for living a virtuous life, whether it's resisting temptation, controlling our desires, or sticking to a daily practice of reflection. Self-discipline strengthens our ability to live with integrity and purpose. In the Stoic view, self-discipline isn't about deprivation, but about freeing ourselves from the whims of our impulses. By learning to live with less, we cultivate the ability to enjoy what we have, rather than always striving for more. Lesson 10. Judge yourself, not others. A Stoic is more concerned with their own behavior than with judging others. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. This idea challenges us to focus on our own moral development, rather than being critical of others. Stoicism teaches that we should evaluate ourselves based on our intentions and actions, not the behavior of others. By focusing on our own choices, we free ourselves from the frustration of trying to control others. Lesson 11. Make peace with death. One of the most profound lessons of Stoicism is the acceptance of mortality. Seneca famously wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Death is a natural part of life, and Stoics encourage us to reflect on it regularly to remind us of the preciousness of time. By accepting the inevitability of death, we can live more fully in the present, making the most of every moment and focusing on what truly matters.